I'm making a change today. The liquor been taking the pain away. I heard you was giving your chain away. That's kind of like giving your fame away. What's wrong with you? I sit in a box where the owners.
Yo, what's up, broskies? Keanu coming at you with a pretty saucy deck profile. I would say this is a deck that well, a combination of two decks that I've just like honestly like just have loved since it's dropped. That being Dinomorphia and the branded archetype. Obviously, if you've been a member of this channel, subscribe to this channel, pretty much as soon as the Despia archetype was released, I went all in on Alubers and I was playing it like an OTK version. Before it was even good, like I was playing it, and then you know, when it became like tier 1, I guess you could say, like a few months back, I went and competed in a pretty large case tournament, did pretty well. The only problem was like every match was like a branded mirror match. It was like 8 rounds every single round. I played against another branded player. I think the only person not playing branded was probably Kane. He went with an invoked prank kids list. That was like right after the ban list. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this one, kind of explain everything as I go. But I'm gonna go ahead and start with the main deck. So first up, triple Theresia. You want to see her pretty soon. If you open up her, any combination of cards, her and like branded opening, it's pretty much going to be game. She's just kind of crazy. She sets Frenzy straight from your deck to your field, or Domain, whichever one you want to go for. Frenzy is obviously the better one. And then if your life points are under 2k, she's at 2k. Also, she can recur herself if this thing is destroyed by battle or card effect. Especially on the level 4 lower Dinomorphia monster from your graveyard. That's why I run the one Diplos. He's fine. If he's get blown up on the field, he can bring her back. Also, if you're under 2k, you peg your opponent for 500 burn damage. And on his normal special summon, he just Foolish Burials, Dinomorphia card. Next up for the Dinomorphia engine, Triple Frenzy. This card's insane. Fusion summons from the using a card from the extra deck in the main deck. You just pay half your life points. That's all you gotta do. Also, it prevents you from taking effect damage. If your life points are 2k or less, you can banish this card from your graveyard. You take no effect damage from your opponent's card effects this turn. Just one Dinomorphia domain. I really want to keep this down to 40 cards, and this is a pretty sweet target. For Therizia also, you can go into catch your Gina or just kind of like burn through your main deck a little bit faster. Just one's fine. Next up, 2 Solemn Judgment. This basically Dinomorphia card. 2 Solemn Strike, the worst Dinomorphia card because it's not pay half, it's pay 15. So at some point, like really, if you get to your Dinomorphia engine pretty fast, to turn like 3, like this card's probably dead, which sucks. So this could probably be bumped up to another Judgment, to make 3 Judgments and then like maybe add something else. I haven't really thought about it, but Strike is like dead after a couple turns. Next up for the branded, the Despia engine, triple Luber, just normal summon a Luber, get to a Lubering, adds a branded spell or trap when it's normal special summon. Also, if a fusion card's destroyed, he can target a card, special summon and negate that card's effects, so he's pretty good in that sense. So pretty nice. You already know the Luber. 2 Tragedy, you only need 2. You know, if it's sent to the graveyard or banished by a card effect, you can add a Despia monster from your deck to your hand. Except Tragedy, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one branded spell or trap, and from your graveyard, set it to your field. And you can only use one of those effects on return. Libitum, he's insane. Yeah, like usually he goes for your big branded red play, and like one line I always forgot. If this card is in your hand or field, is used for fusion material, which he's always going to be. If you use branded red, into the graveyard, you can target one of your Despia monsters or level 8 or higher fusion monsters that is banished or in your graveyard, and just special summon it. So obviously you're getting back your Ice Jade, stuff like that. Next, for the branded part of the deck, 2 Fallen Albaz, Super Poly on legs, target for all your spells pretty much. 1 Fallen of Albaz in dragon form, as in Albi and the Shrouded Dragon. He's pretty insane. Also, he's like a free special summon. Spriggan's Kent, I wasn't running this bad boy at all, but if you have a fusion monster that mentions Fall of Albaz, which is pretty much everything, you can special summon this card from your hand, and then if this card is normal special summon, you can add to your hand one of your branded spell or traps that is banished or in your deck or graveyard, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is fine, because a lot of your cards go back into your deck to search it, so it's not like the worst thing. Move these down a little bit, just make sure you can see those. Yeah, so not the worst thing. Last up for the branded monsters, Tri-Brigade Mercurier. Just a nice little monster negate, easily searchable. You can add from your deck to your hand. Well, you can send this card from your hand or face up fill to the graveyard and negate that effect. That's if your opponent activates monster effect. If this card is banished, you can add from your deck to your hand 1 Fall of Albaz or a monster that mentions it. So if you were running like Gold Sark, it'd be a good Gold Sark target. If you're running like a Lord of Darkness, which you could, especially like in pure like branded or like Despia, branded Despia, Lord of Darkness is a nice card. I don't run it in this, but branded opening. This card's insane. I feel like if any cards were hit on the next ban list, it would either be branded fusion, obviously, or branded opening. Branded opening just kind of does everything from the deck. Discard 1, either add a Despia monster to your hand or special summon it. So if you have this and like obviously Tragedy that just feels like you got away with something, then if this card's in your graveyard, you can literally banish it, protect your fusion monsters from being destroyed. So it's just really insane. Branded fusion, this card's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. If this gets hit like down to 1, the deck's like still playable. It's just like not as like, I don't know, it becomes a little more sacky, but this deck will definitely still be playable even if this gets hit to 1. Like, in my opinion, this card's just crazy. It's just straight all fusion, like on steroids. It's just, I don't know, it's nuts. Branded Red, it's another super poly, well, not a super poly, sorry about that. Don't roast me in the comments, but it's another fusion. Basically, you just target 1 Despia monster or Fallen of Albaz in your graveyard. The only thing that sucks about this is like they can DD Crow it since you have to target. So you can target the DD Crow, your card fizzles. So kind of sucks, but card's broken still. 1 branded lost. I wasn't running this at all, but I made space for it. Originally I put it in, but I was like stuck at 42 cards, and I really am just like trying to keep it at 40 because I just want to like burn through this, and I don't want to like, I want to cut down on like bricky cards. But the activation of your cards and effects that include an effect that fusion summons a fusion monster cannot be negated, so that works pretty well with your trap cards too. I mean, they can still ash because it doesn't negate the activation, it just negates the effect. But yeah, also your opponent cannot activate cards or effects when a monster is fusion summoned this way. If you fusion summon a fusion monster, you can add 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 monster that mentions it from your deck to your hand. So it's just silly because you can go to your Mercurier, you can go to get another Fallen of Albaz, you can get your Spriggan's Kit, and just keep going. 1 branded sword. I'm just testing this for now. I kind of like it. It's highly searchable. Banishing any number of branded spell traps from your grave, especially with that many Ice Blade tokens. And they're level 8, 2500 attack. There's no like restriction on like can they attack. So like in phase, you could, I don't know, like theoretically like flip branded sword and then you have like a bunch of bodies just smack. It's good in testing so far. I'm gonna really test it out. This video will come out after I've just obliterated my locals with this deck, but I'll let you know how it does. Also, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 of your banished monsters that is Fallen of Albaz or mentions it, add that monster to your hand. You can only use one brand sword effect per turn. So you can do it on their end phase and then like do the other effect on your turn. But next up for the hand trap package, Triple Ash. I can't find my other like Ultra or whatever, but Triple Ash, this card's crazy. Obviously, double Imperm. That's it from hand traps. Last 3 cards, just absolute blowout cards. Double Super Poly, 1 Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is a blowout card, I don't care what anybody says. Called by the Grave could be banned, because at 1 it's just super sacky. At 3 it's just like shitty to play against because everybody will always have it. Super Poly is like nuts. At the case tournament, like I completely blew a dude's back walls out, pause, because I super polyed his whole board into spoiler. I ran the Proskinian. I did it on his end phase, super polyed his whole board. On my turn, I quick effects, special summon back his Chimera, and then I started doing my plays. I had like 12k damage on the board, but it was insane. So super poly is like just absurd. And it's just gonna get better with like the new archetypes coming out. Next up for the extra deck, Guardian Chimera. You know what he does. I only have space for 1. I probably could make space for 2, but 1's fine. If you're going to double Chimera, you're probably losing. Next up, 1 Mirror Jade, 1 Lubellion. You know, of course, because we want to do the standard plays. But the reason I'm not running 202 is because I'm running like such a deep Dinomorphia package, and I really don't want this to be like just branded. I want it to be like branded Dinomorphia, or like more so facilitate for my Dinomorphia plays. Because once you have your Dinomorphia engine going, like especially the boss monster, it's really oppressive. They just really can't play. They're usually going to scoop and go in and try and decide for their D barriers. Like I said, 1 Proskinian eats boards, pretty crazy. 1 Quertus. I'll never stop running him just because like he was like the first released, and like I ran this in my Kaiju Despia build. I ran this in like my pure Despia build. Like I'll run him forever. I was running him at 3, but like I only have space for 1, but I'll always make space for 1. 1 Masquerade. I'm trying to find space for a second one because against some matchup it's just an auto win. 1 Albion gets your Branded Red. 1 Brigand gets your Mercurier. These are also like good like Fauna Vaba super poly targets. 1 Dinomorphia T-Rex. He's just like a skill drain. Your opponent cannot activate the effects of monsters they control that have attack greater than or equal to your life points. So that's why you want to have have you use one of those judgments. So like judgment into frenzy is like, I don't know, pretty much the god combo, like because your life points are gonna be at 2k, and then everything like 2k or over cannot activate their effects. And then once per turn quick effect, you can pay half your life points. The attack of all your monsters your opponent controls become equal to your life points until the end of this turn. Then if this card is destroyed, he can special summon a level 6 or lower Dinomorphia monster from your grave. Usually gonna be like, go back into your Kentragina. Kentragina is just like she loses attack like equal to your life points. And she starts at 4k, so most of the time she's coming out at 0, but then she can quick effect like fusion summon again basically. This makes all your traps free. Probably could cut, I would say you could probably cut these down, but you need them for frenzy targets as well. And then 1 super poly target. Could be anything, but I think that's just the best. But that is it for this one. Remember to like the video if you like the video. Comment down below of what you want to see next. I will include this one in the locals vlog because this one's one I've been working on for the past couple weeks. So I'm pretty excited about this, so stay tuned for that. Also subscribe to stay tuned for that because we're almost at our 500 sub mark, and see you next time.